When I first kissed a girl, I wasn't expecting it to feel as great as it did.
Finally, the penny dropped. I'm like, I figured it out. The word queer says, you know, why are you asking the question? Why are you trying to put me in a box?
I've always described myself as heterosexual. But I feel maybe that's too constricting. If I say I'm heterosexual, I feel like I'm lying. If I say I'm bisexual, I feel like I'm lying.
I guess I never really gave myself the room to think about my sexuality. I just sort of assumed that that I was heterosexual.
Everyone was straight, as a lot of people are in high school, and I was very, very straight, of course.
The conversations that we did have were always about boys and sex and pretty hetero and really, really normative. So I didn't really feel like I could talk to her about my body and how it was to be in my particular body, but definitely I couldn't talk to her about how I had a bit of a crush on her.
When I had a boyfriend, I would always be like, I don't understand what all this hype is around sex and like kissing and shit. Like it's not that great. Like I don't understand what all these kids in high school are talking about. And then when I got a girlfriend, I was like, oh, right, cool. Sex is really awesome and kissing is really awesome.
I started letting the floodgates open and looking at other women and looking at just kind of everyone for who they were. Whereas before it's kind of the horse blinders of, no, you can only look at cis dudes.
I would define my sexuality right now as queer or bisexual.
Bisexual, pansexual,
asexual.
Would consider myself 90% straight.
I don't know, depending on which words you're using, like pansexual or bisexual.
Generally, if I'm gonna like put a label on it, pansexual.
You know, I love everyone and realizing that I can be attracted to anyone.
There's not just a sort of, oh, you know, I'm gay and I'm straight and that's that. It's not always that clear. There's a lot of gray areas and it's not even necessarily a line. It could even just be like a star. We don't know. We're trying to all figure it out.
I used to use the term bi back in high school because I was like, I think about both sexes equally. That must mean I'm bi. You know, like I wasn't thinking about them at all in terms of sexual, you know, orientation and stuff, but I was kind of like, okay, I must be bi then. But that label fit for me at the time. And then when I came across asexuality, I was kind of like, oh, this fits better.
Queer is a word that helps you create a space for newness and being not normal. I love not being normal wherever possible, but really it's good to have a label that is almost not a label, like it's pushing back against them.
Coming out, not coming out to other people, but coming out to myself is one of the highlights of my life. The moment that I walked out of that bedroom into the streets was the most colorful day of my life. The sky was brighter, the trees were greener. Life, all of a sudden, made a whole lot of sense. Something just clicked, and I was like, oh my God, this is who I am. This is so exciting. I just have to run around and tell everyone, I found a part of me that I didn't even know existed. And then I found out that not everyone was so excited about homosexuality as I was. And some of those people that weren't so excited happened to be my family members.
I burst into tears. And my family was like, why are you crying? You know, my mum and my dad were like, why are you crying? And I sat down, I was like, I'm gay. And then everyone just kind of sat in silence for a little while.
Is everyone your girlfriend? And I was like, yeah. And that was my coming out. It was like a question that I could say yes or no to, and that was it. Like, they were like, all right, cool, whatever.
Hey, this is what's going on. I'm gay. I'm queer. This is me. And it was huge. And I got lots of positive, positivity back at me. People were sending me love. It was really nice. A lot of people were like, duh. The fact that queer people, for example, have to come out, it's just because society's created a closet and created a norm. So I hate that the onus is on us to like have these deep conversations with everyone and announce who we are. Also, like, I'm really fluid and I'm not sure sometimes.
I've never like sat down with my parents and been like, just FYI, I've shagged a few girls, because it didn't feel necessary, but then not telling them feels like a lie, which is weird. Like, it's like I'm hiding something, but it's like, I don't ring my mum every time I shag a bloke.
it's funny because like my community's gotten to a point now where we don't really ask people what their sexuality is anymore. Like I remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, is she straight? Is she gay? Like this is really important. But now it's just kind of like, hey, you're really cute. Do you want to go on a date sometime? And then it's like they're either into you or they're not, and that's fine.
Sexuality has just become a really fluid thing. Day to day, week to week can be completely different. And being part of a really great queer community that just doesn't judge on that is wonderful.
It wasn't until I started going to queer youth support groups where I got to meet other young queer people and I got to meet older queer people that I was able to connect with community and talk openly, and to really come to terms with who I am and my place and just have a space and time to digest my experience. That's such an important thing.
You're not weird, you're not abnormal. Everybody is equally worried that they're weird and abnormal. It's gonna be okay, basically, 15-year-old me.
There's a community out there that will love you for all that you are. And yeah, keep pushing through it. You'll find us one day and you won't believe how good life can be.